Hey guys, welcome back to Jason Unleashed. How's it going? Happy Wednesday. Yes, Jason Carter here. I am your host. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Good to be here with you. I know I have been shooting from a bunch of different locations because I'm moving and now I'm in my new place. But on today's show, it's a drag race reunion because I have none other than the Midwest queen herself, Blair St. Clair, in the house. So let me bring Blair in. Let's see. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, here we go. Sorry, guys. Instagram. Yes, we loved her on AllStars 5 and season 10, and she is here today. It's so good to talk to her. Blair, Blair, Blair. Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
good. Blair, can you see and hear me?
Oh, I can, yeah.
Hi. Yes, I can. That's such a cute dog.
Yes, this is Coco. She has
Wait,
a reaction.
wait. So that's a Frenchie. What's her name again?
Coco Tuna.
Coco. Such a cute dog. When did you get a dog, Blair?
So I had two for a long time. Coco came into my life, and when did you come into my life? Probably like almost 6 months ago.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations. I got a dog too, beginning of quarantine. It's like having a child.
It really is. Also, like for the longest time, gosh, I really not gonna lie. It's definitely kind of made me sit back and think like kids are definitely the future, but a lot longer down the line than I thought because I've never had a puppy from puppy stage. And if puppies are like a lot of work, I can imagine what kids are gonna be like.
I know. And I thought having a dog is like, you walk the dog, you pet the so much more involved in things, and I'm learning right there with you. So we're puppy daddies together. Are you, are you there? Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, the internet is all good to see you. Welcome to the show. How are you doing? And congratulations on All Stars 5. What a ride.
Thank you. I'm doing okay. I would love to say that I'm doing amazing and perfect and great, but I, like everyone else, is definitely like experiencing the crazy of the world right now. All Stars was actually, we filmed All Stars a little over a year after. I mean, before it actually premiered on TV. So I was really, really anxious and really interested to see it on TV, and it was so crazy watching it because so many moments I was like, oh my gosh, like if I did that moment today, versus a year ago, I know I could have done it even 10 times better. So that plus actually watching the show, every week, plus like the world, it's just been like a whirlwind.
Well, your career has been a whirlwind because you sashayed the workroom season 10. And
Yes.
you were from Indianapolis, you were young, you were this teen, and you were the baby bunch with something to prove. And now coming back for All Stars, let's talk about your evolution. I'm not going to say glow up. I think glow up is kind of like Teen Witch. One day you're a nerd, the next day you're cool. That's not what's happened with you. You have
Right.
evolved and have really taken what you've learned from Drag Race and have created this brand with and businesses and products. Coming back to season 10, entering the workroom, when you got that call, what went through the game plan? Claire St. Clair was going to do differently on highest stakes in drag.
I had so many plans. The first thing I learned the most actually it was from season 10. When you're going to Drag Race the first time, you think you know who you are as a queen, and then by judges, and a lot of these judges have expertise in many different fields. So then you're critiqued by them, and you have to take their critique to heart in the competition. But there's some of it you have to kind of also look back and say, like, I respect what you're saying, but maybe I don't fully agree. But after the competition, you're like, okay, like I'm gonna put some of look in the competition and after, I'm gonna put their tips to use. But then it came to actually watching myself on TV, to recognizing and realizing a lot of their critique. And I was like, oh, I get it. Like, I know that maybe in the moment I thought I was being fooling myself, but I was holding back because of this. So it actually took me watching myself to realize what it was that I really wanted to improve on my life, on my drag, on my aesthetic, on my persona, everything. And as soon as our season finished airing, right after that finale finished airing, I decided not to do All Stars 4. And I was like, it's just way too soon. Yeah, I'm not ready yet. There's so much I want to learn, I want to do, I want to conquer in the world. I want to travel for a while before I go back on TV again. So I really made this game plan. It was a year of working up everything about myself to plan myself to be on AllStars. I enrolled in dance classes. Not that they necessarily have fully paid off, but they made me a more confident mover. That is for sure. Um, I took some improv classes and some other acting classes because I, by nature, come from scripted acting, where prompt acting without a script has always terrified me. And that's what a lot of Drag Race is like being witty, off the cuff, and quick with your answers. And I've always been really insecure and kind of in my head of like, oh, is that the right thing to say? Like, is that funny? And so like I spent the year just letting myself go and forgetting about what people had to say about me. Now, when it comes to like the look department, I sat down with a lot of really amazing makeup artists that I really trust. And I said, like, look, hey, I'm just school for hair and makeup. I know what I like for myself, but I want to elevate.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do to me? Like, make me over and show me what you would do in your eyes to elevate me. So I learned from so many different people out there in the world that have taught me way more about hair, way more about makeup, way more about fashion, my aesthetic. And I like really took that time to grow. And I kind of slashed my ego in half. And I was like, look, this is a time where I'm not going to say like I know everything. I want to learn from the other experts because I want to come back one day to the show and just wow everybody.
Well, I think it's incredible that they asked you stars 4 and you said no. And then they came back around 5 and you were, that's kind of like the universe saying you were meant to reemerge to Drag Race, leaving the show, and then like as you just said, doing all the work and creating this new Blair. Your music also was came to fruition was from this Call My Life. But I remember going to your Instagram and being like, have you guys seen Blair? Blair, this video and this music, like what's going on? Creating that after Drag Race, creating that after Drag, that genesis, that process. What emotion your music?
All the emotion was just kind of like who I was at that point in time in my life. It was about me taking life by the balls and saying like, I'm in charge of my life today. Not saying that I'm in charge of the world, but like, I'm going to take, it's this new chapter of who I am and like really taking it and freeing myself. For the first time in my life, when I was on the runway during my elimination episode of season 10, I really opened up about my sexual assault and like coming forward. And that was never something that I planned to talk about, never something that I was coerced into saying. It just so happened to be just something that kind of like word vomited. And that was like the first times in my life that I actually felt free. I felt like I was talking about who I am. I thought that I was actually being truthful to myself and to the world. And that is when, after that moment, I started like writing that album. And that album just started to be like who I am as a person. And I had no intention of it succeeding or being listened to. It was more of like a therapeutic process of getting through all of season 10 of just saying like, hey, I've had a lot of crazy experiences. I've had a wild ride. Now let's put this into music. It's something that I love, and let's make a project out of it. Right. And it was widely accepted and shared and streamed, which I'm so grateful for. But it was never even the initial plan. It was just, hey, I want to release music. It would make me really happy. Let's go on this journey, this ride. Let's release it. And then all of a sudden, like, it did really well, and I was shocked.
Well, that's like you make me go in the and really, as you said, of yourself, and people albums and that you people that also experience. Drag Race Queen to one, a Billboard #1 album. That has to, you were standing right things to summer identity. Just a second moment. The show, you're here. Oh, hold on a second. Kind of crazy. Let me figure this out. Can't hear me. Okay, hold on. Come back on AllStars.
Yeah.
You are proved Blair gone through puberty.
Well, it's still kind of evolving, but pretty much almost past puberty now.
And so you're here on the show still, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's kind of cutting in and out a little.
Okay, hold on. Is this better?
I'm doing some lip reading a little bit.
No, don't lip read. Not lip reading.
It's another skill. What can I say?
All right, cool. Let's talk right here. Does this sound better?
It does, yeah, so far.
Okay, cool. All right, boom.
Boom. Shakalaka.
Okay, wait. Now there's you can hear us.
No, I can't hear you. Audio is still cutting out. Can't.
Nope. Wait, hang on a second. Hold on. All right. I don't know. That's so crazy, Blair. I don't know what's going on with my audio. It could be this new. I'm in a new place.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go over here. Maybe this is better here. Okay. All right. Is that okay?
In the past minute you spoke.
What's that?
I haven't cut out once in the past minute.
Oh, okay, cool. So, all right. We have you back on Drag Race, season 10. You walk back into the workroom. You see all these amazing queens, all these legends, because it's the hyper Olympics of drag. When you finally came back and said, "I'm gonna do this," what were you most afraid of for that season?
So to be completely honest, I was most afraid that I was going to revert into acting that I acted on season 10. And that was putting up a lot of walls and a lot of barriers on who I was. And like on season 10, I was completely genuine in who I was. Like I was myself, like I was me, but I was still like very much learning about myself. And so if I was having a bad day, I would be like, yeah, it's a bad, like in my confessional, today's a bad day, but it's gonna be great. I was always like trying to be instead of just being truthful and genuine. Instead of just being like fully invested, like day to day, they suck, and I'm gonna tell you why. Like yeah. I was afraid that I was going to revert back to that, like I did in season 10, because I always made everything a positive, and I was like, I'm self-editing because people to know that I had emotions. Like I'm like, so not true because I met so many people on tour after season 10, and so many people were like, you were so sweet, you always had a kind word to say, like you were always so positive, and I was like, yeah, but that's because I kind of back, and I don't want you to think that I'm perfect, because then it put a lot of pressure on me, thinking like, oh my gosh, if I make a mistake in the world, then people are gonna think, that's not the Blair that I saw on TV. So I honestly was most afraid of just not letting loose, letting go, and just 100%. And if being me failed, then I would rather have had that on the show than me being me, pretending that everything was okay.
Right.
I would just to be like authentic.
Yeah, well, I mean, authenticity absolutely is what shines the most. And I think that people were really shocked and surprised by how bold and direct you were this season.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And like, especially like with reading, winning the reading challenge, the first episode with Juju and I tied. I think a lot of people are shocked. They're like, but it's going to be shady. And I was like, oh, I've always had that inside. I'm just not really known to be too shady. So I was just like, I'm just going to kind of like keep that.
Yeah. Look, the evolution of Blair St. Clair absolutely was evident. And we also saw that just across the board with your looks. The challenges, I can't remember the name of the challenge where it was you and Mayhem and everything was very rich, the gold room.
Yes.
So good. So good.
So
Stand out.
I have to give Mayhem the credit to that, because I actually thought she was going to win the challenge that week, because it was Mayhem's idea to kind of create, not a catchphrase per se, but make sure everything was like something rich, like ooh, right. like my line that everyone remembers and talks about is ooh, daddy rich, was Mayhem's idea. And she's like, you have to incorporate this in it like somehow. And I was like, that's hysterical. So that was probably my one. That was so much fun.
And it looked great. It was awesome. It was fun to watch. Circling back to music, Identity.
Yes.
Whole new moment for Blair. Again, an evolution of your sound and an evolution of you sonically. The process of creating the second body of work. I mean, you've had singles, you've had 2 full-length albums. This is your sophomore album. The process, what was that like for you?
Well, the first album was written and recorded. The second album was written and recorded over a year and a half. So it was so much more time. And, that if you have any singing experience in life, whether it be fire in high school, community, or whatever, take that and forget everything you've ever learned, and then you have to relearn, because pop music is completely different. So
Right.
it's like a transitional period of learning what it's like to sing into a microphone right in front of you versus singing on stage where people are to hear you in the very back. And the way of singing is very, very different in pop than it is in musical theater. And it's about writing style and like how everything is written completely different. So it was like this learning process of me down and saying, like, I want to do pop. I kind of Call My Life was a little bit more dance heavy than I did pop heavy, and I wanted to do pop originally. And someone told me, they're like, I think pop's a great idea in the future album. Focus on something that can be played in gay clubs, because that's, you've just come off this show that has a really strong audience in culture where your songs will be played in clubs. They're going to play dance bops, probably before a pop song, because then if they're going to pop, they're going to start playing Ariana Grande, Lady Gaga, other things. And they're like, if you want it to be heard, go with dance. And I was like, I don't care if it's heard. Like, I just want it to be out there. So I was kind of a little coerced into like more of a dance heavy album. So the second album, I said, no, what I want from my soul. I want it to be fun, vibey, cool. I wanted to like say what I'm saying. Like, I want it to be me. I wanted to reflect the artists that I really love and look up to in mainstream pop music. And so we definitely went out, and it was a long, grueling process that also put my ego in check, because there was some where I would record it thinking it was bomb, and listening back, I'm like, oh, I am not happy with half of this. Let's recut it, because like I just don't love it. And it was this like process of relearning what it is that I actually can sing, and then what I actually want it to sound like in return.
Yeah. Well, again, it's like with Christina Aguilera's sophomore album, and this one, when you have these labors of love, you really have to go back to the drawing board and the cutting board again and again and again to get the formula right. But the simple fact that you chose to stick with your guns and be true to who you are artistically, not compromising your artistic integrity, says a lot about your growth as well as an artist. And a lot of young artists are afraid to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, actually, when Ariana Grande first released her album, I think it was I think it was Thank You Next. Yeah, it was Thank You Next. It was right after Sweetener. A lot of people weren't really loving it because it was something that she really wanted to do. But I know a lot of people give her backlash saying, well, where are the bops? Where are the bops? And
Right.
I love the album because I actually liked the music style. But I especially loved it because I was like, I can tell that this is something that she wants to do. And in the future, I would love to work on more music. I'm actually have a lot of ideas of music that I'm hoping to work on. Even being in quarantine, I'm trying to figure out how I can record at home and send to production and producers in LA. But it's going to be everything that I want to do. And if people listen and stream and support it, I will be incredibly, eternally grateful. But I think it'll be more for what I put into the world.
Right. Right. Would you ever leave the Midwest for LA?
I've talked about it a lot. I actually left the Midwest a few years ago, and I relocated in DC. So I'm in DC now, so it's a little step closer than LA. I'd love to move to LA, but, honestly, like the way I've been feeling right now, a year ago, I would have said absolutely. Right now, I'm just like, who knows what's happening with the world? Because honestly, I would have said I needed to live in LA because of music and because I'm always auditioning for new TV shows and movie projects and things. But recently, I've never been busier in my life, because I'll get a casting director that says, hey, can you Zoom at 3 o'clock for your audition? Versus me having to fly into LA, get a hotel, memorize my sides, walk into the building, meet the director, audition, and fly home. It's literally like a click of a button and I can audition.
Isn't it magical? Isn't it magical? It's so great.
It is. I'm actually...
I'm all for the Zoom everything. Zoom everything. Okay, so AllStars is over. You're doing all kinds of cool things. You have a wig line, you have music, you have legions of fans across the world who adore you. What's next for Blair? Where you want to act? You want to be in movies? I saw that breeze for songs. You want a hot body? You want a Maserati? You want to be in movies? You got to work, Blair. But where do you see yourself?
Next for me is it's kind of up in the air. I'll be honest with you, because I want to remind people that hear this or see this that like I am so grateful for all the opportunities I've been given in my life and the ability to travel the world and to learn so much at such a young age. and to do so much at such a young age that like I always want to hold standards high for me to like do so many more things. But I'm so content and grateful for all that I have already accomplished. But I have been cast in a major movie, so I'm excited for that to come to fruition. Considering all that's happened in our world, I hope that we can still film that. But I would love to continue to do TV and film in and out of drag and to really represent our culture and all that we do, whether that's about, gay culture or about youth and about drag and the arts and creativity. But I also, I do want to create more music and I want to put more music out into the world. But I will be honest in saying that touring for me right now is something that I plan to cut back a little bit on.
Why?
I still plan to tour a lot. Like, I love it. But I found this sense of peace of being at home and being connected with fans. I've actually set up different ways, like through Zoom, because we love the Zoom, like master classes on like makeup and do different things. I've been connecting with fans and having almost like this like virtual meet and greet where I have an hour to talk with people. I am working on a book right now that I'm hoping I actually was starting a book before AllStars, but got busy with the whole AllStars thing. And I want to finish that, put that out into the world. But I kind of just see the world as like limitless opportunity right now. I just things and see what falls into place, and it falls into place, then it's the right thing. But one of my dreams, I have two dreams before I die. One is to own my own boutique salon, so that way I can either continue to work on clients that I used to do before Drag Race and still offer my wig line in the salon. And the other is probably when I retire. So I'm thinking like 60, 65 years old plus, I want to open up my own breakfast diner.
That's so wholesome. I love it. I love it.
It's so Midwest of me.
But see, that's that Midwest charm. You ooze that. Going back to this book, though, you've been writing a book. What is Blair Clair writing about?
It's changed many times. So I wish I could tell you exactly, but originally it started off about like who I was before Drag Race and how it led up to Drag Race. And then it was all about me experience Drag Race side. But I think I've actually transitioned it into being a little bit of everything. And it's going to be a little fictional about, maybe because I'm actually reworking everything. And I think I want it to be more of the after effect of what a little taste of, I like to, I guess you could call it fame, but this little taste of opportunity that the world's given me and what I'm hoping to do with it and like who I am now. Like I've changed a lot. I've grown up a lot. I've gone through a lot. I have been opened up to a lot. And a lot of it is credited to RuPaul and RuPaul's Drag Race, but a lot of it's also credited to my own personal journey and the many therapists that have sat down with me to figure out who I am and where I want to go with this life.
I feel you on the therapist, B, for sure, for sure. Well, that's incredible. That's awesome. People are saying in the comments that they would love a book. I'm gonna put this right here. That they would love a book from Clair and that they would definitely on Amazon. It comes out. Looking back on 5 stars, do you have any?
So I hate the word regret because that means like you wish you could take it back.
Yeah.
So in that term, I don't regret anything that happened because I think everything happened the way it should have. And so I'm not mad about my elimination. I'm not like mad about any critique I got, anything. If I had any regret, it would be not a regret, but like a do-over, I guess you could say. And I wish I had not given up on the day that I was nominated for the comedy challenge because I was really confident before the challenge and I allowed myself to really get in my head because I thought in my brain, look, you haven't officially won a challenge here yet. And if you have 2 options, you either win this comedy challenge or else if you don't win, you're in the bottom because everyone is at that point in time. And if you don't win the challenge, you will go home because you have the weakest track record because that's really voting. So I put myself to either win or go home. And before actually the comedy challenge actually began, I think I probably felt one of the most confident because I was really proud of the material I created and I was really having fun with it. But I stopped having fun on stage the moment I went on stage. And I think that is exactly the same time that I was eliminated on season 10. The day I stopped having fun, you can see straight through it. Right. And you see nerves, you see anxiety, you see like all this stuff. Like come out, and that is the moment that I knew I was going home. And I don't feel like I threw it all away, because I think I showed exactly what I came to show, was growth, both personally, aesthetically, my, like authenticity. Like I had so much fun. So there's nothing that I would actually, that I really regret. But I will say, I still stand behind the look that I made on the designer challenge, and I still loved it. And I thought I looked sickening. So I regret the judge's decision not to love it.
Hey, I felt like all of your looks were on the money. I think your best look of this season, the barbecue Ruth's barbecue one. That the colors were great. It was so well done. The you
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
love the hair. Love the hair. When people reach fans and they advice and want to, especially after season 10,
Oh, what was like the competition like?
like with your fans
Yeah.
about things that lives that are still experiencing the show.
It's both. It's a double-edged sword, because it's both very humbling to know that like I have a connection, this deep connection with some fans that have experienced some of the same trauma that I have in my life. And you definitely right away you feel a lot of fans that have said like, hey, you opened up about on Drag Race and I can relate to you more than you know. You instantly have this beautiful bond and connection you've made with this person, but at the same time it also does bring me back a little bit inside to some of the negatives that I've, and so it kind of does bring me back some at times to that of my own. So it's where I'm grateful for the connection, but sometimes it is, if I'm not perfectly in a great mental state that day, it is very hard to connect, because it's
Right.
like, oh, I know, but we're both getting past this, and let's get past it together. Let's try and find some positive together. Sometimes it's hard, but you have no idea how humbling it is for someone to say, you helped change my life, or because you talk about who you are, or what you've been through, or what you do in your life has offered me so much insight to being a happier person or a kinder person, or something like that. Like I keep this box that all my fans, like when they give me notes and letters and things, and when I have a bad day, I try to open one of them and read what they say. Because even when I'm in the most negative of mentalities, I'm like, oh, the world sucks today. I don't see an end of this pandemic. Like I want to see my friends, my family. Just reading a simple note of like, hey, you helped me find peace and clarity with myself and my own family, or something like that. I sit back and think like, the world could be so much worse for me.
Right.
And it honestly makes me sit back and feel super grateful for all that I haven't given, and try to help switch that negative look out at life and make it much more positive.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Well said. Before I let you go, I want to ask, what is one thing you want your fans here? Because there's lots of people down below celebrating you, that love you, that are huge fans. What is one thing you want them to know about you that they probably are misconception about Blair St. Clair that you want to clear up?
That is probably that I am literally the weirdest, goofiest, silliest person of all time. Most people think that when I put on my aesthetic to be like this prim, proper, pretty princess, like especially out of drag, like I am the weirdest, silliest, goofiest person in the world. I love fart jokes. I love anything that just makes. I love making people laugh in like silly, goofy ways. I put on all these different kinds of like voices and like things just to like cheer people up, and I'm just like literally like a crazy goofball. That's I think a misconception, because I think people think I'm a little uptight and I can be a little bit of a Karen, but I'm really not at all.
A Karen? Never.
Never like that way. But I mean, like, I'm not like this uptight, like prim and proper, like singing Ave Maria. I'm more like craziness is like coming into town.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Blair, it's been awesome talking to you. I don't know what has been going on with my internet today. As you can see, I'm moving into a new dig, so that could be the moving juju. But it's been awesome talking to you guys. Go and stream Identity right now. You can get it on all platforms. And buy Coco. Show Coco some love, everyone.
Bye, Coco. Say bye.
And Blair, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Thank you. Good to talk to you.